What's going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have like and sub, and let's get into this. We've known for a long time now that there's a suspicious pattern pushing ideology and all the things in Disney, and we obviously it's in all companies, but specifically in Disney, we've always known and said amongst ourselves that they weren't going to be the ones changing. That maybe Marvel would try to course correct a little bit, but Disney itself, and specifically Disney Lucasfilm, would never course correct, that their ideology was too implanted. And I did always wonder, because even though people blame Kathleen Kennedy, she seems to have her feminism thing, but other than that, she just seems like a poor leader that hires the wrong people. But now we're sort of finding out who those Darth Sidious's actually are. Spoiler, it's GLAAD. It's GLAAD, the gay, lesbian, whatever the hell alliance thing. That is behind many of the dictations, rather, phrasing, that we've gotten. So Endymion and his sources yesterday were talking about Quantic Dream and their Eclipse Star Wars game coming out, how it's going to have very few white people, major aliens, gender identity confusion of the male aliens wearing female clothing, etc. And that the whole point of all of this is to peel away the whiteness of Disney and to get people used, instead of thinking about Anakin or Luke Skywalker, white men, they're trying to replace this problematic audience with a new one. So you can see here, this does much of the agenda is coming from GLAAD, the LGBTQ, of course, lobbyist group. And so the insider that Endymion has came out, talked about this. From what I'm told, Disney looks at the paying customer base in two specific groups. There's the modern audience, which doesn't exist, but in best interpretation, the modern audience would just be the everyday normie people who maybe don't read a bunch of expanded universe or play video games or pay attention to all the other stuff. They just want to be entertained. That's the actual modern audience. And that modern audience is the ones that went to see Deadpool and Wolverine, right? They're the ones that they don't really give a shit about woke. They don't like being preached to. They just want good entertainment. The mythical modern audience is the one that they think they're trying to get. And that's the one of all the diverse group of underrepresented people that have just been marginalized and held back by the oppressive whiteys all this time. The problem with that is they don't exist. And those that do exist are very few in number, i.e. the people that watched Acolyte all the way through and liked it. They don't really spend money because shockingly, they all have, to use a Fandom Pulse term, they have disordered lifestyles, which doesn't really lead to financially positive jobs, and they don't have disposable income, basically. Very hit or miss. So being told that that's those two groups, and they that's the one they want to cater more to, that modern audience. And there's the problematic audience. That is us. That is all the OG fans that they tried to replace. That's the ones that they said, yeah, screw the ones that like Luke Skywalker. We can get rid of them. The problem is people like us are getting together and calling out things like this all the time. So they want to scatter us with the content. Oh, sorry. This first party says, as I was told by these sources, Disney is pushing for what they call atomization, is to split the audience up and isolate them from each other. And they did this pretty by and large for a while. Those that like the sequel trilogies, those that don't, those that liked Rey, those that don't, those that liked what they did with Luke, those that called him Jake Skywalker, etc. But the problem is, you see, we are all talking and calling these things out. Yes, the Fellowship, the 199, the General Group, and they also refer to us all as Gamergate too. So they want to scatter us with the content they don't want until we all walk away with the consolidating the modern audience, so to speak, instead of forming a stronger base forward. Yes, so they want to replace us. They've always tried. It's not bearing out. They can't, but they are trying. And you can see here, this is Endymion's the activists and the lobby group. Here are their essentially their ratings for Disney, and you can see this is how they take out the Disney marketing people for coffee and terrify them of what could happen. So that's from that end. So where's all the gay stuff coming from? Disney and the Star Wars? It's coming from GLAAD and other like-minded activist groups, and in the employees that they've hired to try and hit those standards are also. So the inmates are running the asylum. This bears out by every time like James O'Keefe leaks their Slack channels and things like that. And then on the other end, and this is where I take it a little bit more grain and salt, we're hearing that Kathleen Kennedy does this to appease creatives who also have this ideology. So it says, as for the people who are running the show at Lucasfilm, underneath Kathleen Kennedy to push the agenda, Endymion identified the company's senior vice president of franchise content and strategy. So naming names, James Waugh and Douglas Riley, the vice president of Lucasfilm Games. I'm told he's pretty much Kathleen Kennedy's right-hand man, and whatever he says or votes for, it speaks for her as well. Beneath James are people like Douglas Riley, who is specifically in charge of the games division side when it comes to Disney and their products. As I'm told, and this really annoyed my sources, is that this board has the ultimate power to completely veto and block anything using their IP from ever coming out. This means if you spend money making something, but Disney doesn't like it, too bad, because you have zero say, even though Disney themselves have not really spent a single cent on the project that you have been making for all this time. And this is, we'll close out here because we covered this in the video yesterday, that they are hell-bent on ensuring that Eclipse has tons of non-binary and diversity within its characters. And yeah, they are pulling all the levers to make sure that that happens. Does not fill me with confidence for anything coming out of Quantic Dream. Of course, their connection to Dustborn and all that helped ruin that. But by all accounts, this is what it is, to replace us with that mythical modern audience that won't work. We just have to hold the line. Anyway, let me know what you think about all this. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you.
Well,